I said, perhaps my colleague, the Minister of Labor and Employment, may give you an update on that, another update. But because I spoke with the NLC president yesterday, Ayuba Wagba, perhaps I should just give an update on that. But every other thing regarding these strikes and all may be given by Dr. Chris Ngige, my colleague. We have heard of the threats to resume the strike. We intervened at some points. We called both parties together. There was actually a memorandum of understanding we reached with the Kaduna State government. We are conciliators. That also answers one question my friend was trying to ask the other time. Why so many strikes under us? Does it mean that we are not doing our job? We are conciliators. We are not the disputants. So don't think the Ministry of Labor is actually the disputant every time you see strikes everywhere. That means Ministry of Labor is quarreling with everybody. When the doctors are on strike, the disputants are Ministry of Health and doctors, not Labor. We now come in and call both parties fighting together to our office to say, what is the problem? Let us hear you. When you hear teachers are on strike and lecturers and ASU, it is the Ministry of Education and the teachers that are the disputants. So we are hardly disputing with anybody as Ministry of Labor. We are not disputant in any dispute at all. So all these things you are trying to put on our head, I beg you, it's not on our it's not on our head. We are conciliators. And luckily, because I also have an international fellowship degree in arbitration from the UK, even before I was appointed minister, it has helped me to use those skills to try to settle some of these problems. So that is, but for the Kaduna thing, Mr. President has been briefed on it. Mr. President has, intervened and asked the parties to embrace the path of peace and dialogue. We hope that will be adhered to. So we will monitor the process and try to ensure that the memorandum of understanding we signed, that if all parties are faithful to that agreement, then perhaps the NLC will not resume their industrial action in Kaduna State. So our duty now is just to pursue that path of peace and ensure that that memorandum is implemented. So that's as far as I can do. I can say, like I said, I discussed with the president of NLC yesterday night, and he was asking for this kind of intervention to ensure that that agreement is respected. Every other thing regarding those industrial disputes, Ngige will update you on that. Someone asked about the fact that the same persons, in some cases, the same persons are the same persons that appear all the time in respect of all federal government programs in some states. Whilst I don't have the full facts regarding that, but I will not also, in my true conscience, dispute your assertion. I will not. Because I know how the political terrain operates now, where you have godfathers everywhere. As they are bringing program of federal government, they hand it over to what they call the leader. Somebody said Ose there. He's my brother. They say Ose. When they say Ose is the leader. That is how it operates. Regrettably, I must say regrettably, any program, in fact, they capture it like bandits here in Abuja. Before it leaves Abuja, as it's coming out straight from Villa, new fresh forever government project, they capture it here and hand it over to their structures in the state. So I will not dispute it. I may not have the true figures and the impact of it and whether it is actually true going on in every state and the widespread nature of it. But like I said, what we try to do in this program, that is why perhaps I faced some resistance. All of that has been put behind us, so I don't want to go into that. So I don't want to wake up all those egos. But we moved on. At the end of the day, we moved on in peace, because everybody realized that we needed to serve the Nigerian people. But that was why I designed it that way. We designed it that way to be multi-sectorial. There is no program ever before run by any government before us that you will see people who are not politicians brought into the selection process. I saw some people complaining, some opposition leaders complaining about the special public work. They didn't get enough. They didn't get this. In fact, they were even talking about enough. And the question we asked them was that when you were running your own PDP program, did we even hear anything about it as opposition? Did we hear anything about it? Remember this one they ran, what they call You Win and all those programs? Then. It was just purely political patronage. This one we tried to say, okay, religious leaders, Christian leaders, this and that. We say each senator, whether PDP or senator, bring 30, bring this. So, whether opposition and all that, that was the kind of mind we had, the kind of approach. They can complain about inadequacy now, that we didn't get enough numbers. In the past, did we get as opposition, did we get any at all? Did we even get any? Did we know how? People are complaining now. That's to tell you the nature of President Muhammadu Buhari. People are complaining that the school feeding program going on around the country, that school feeding program, is purely in the hands of opposition in many states. The APC in those states don't even know how that school feeding program is being carried out. But what would the president say? The president, if you go to him, will say, but they are Nigerians. It is meant for all Nigerians. That's what the president will tell you. It's meant for all Nigerians. But party members will be complaining, but he's the father of the nation. He's not the father of APC. Before the election of 2019, many of our APC members were mad. They were mad that this program should be in APC so that we can use it to run elections. But the president said no. The president would just laugh. Despite all that, they were threatening, we are going to lose election. No. PDP members were using this program to empower their people in the states. APC have nothing to empower. Didn't the president win? He won. He won. He won more people to his side even by that. So for us, for this program, we followed the president's spirit too, to say everybody should get it. So that your assertion may not be correct regarding the special public works program. Go and interview people. In fact, like I said, pictorials will come to you very soon. We interviewed people on the street, traditional rulers who are not politicians. They all were happy. We went around the country with our press crew. Our press crew. So we are very confident that you may not have that type of accusation so much when it comes to the special public works program. You may go around and ask, but you may not have that type of accusation so much regarding that. So, some say, well, whether this program will not go down the drain like other programs or the sustainability of it. It's a very good program. We'll keep improving. We'll keep improving. From this experience, we know that we may need more time for preparation each time we want to start the program again. We know it's a huge program. It takes a lot of logistics to execute it, a lot of logistics. So we may require more time, especially when we want to execute it to perfection. I may not be here tomorrow again as minister. He may not be here tomorrow as DG again. But we have set a template that other DGs, other ministers, supervising ministers will follow in future. Ensure that it is watertight in terms of the selection process and the execution. So we just set a template. It is the first time we are doing this type of program, like I said. So we needed to be very innovative. We needed to be very innovative. Maybe that's why perhaps there were some delays, and because we wanted to get it right at the end of the day. But I mentioned that as part of a larger package of poverty reduction package that the president approved and FEC approved, in the last few weeks, there are so many components of that package. The president is very serious about the issue of lifting 100 million people out of poverty in the next 10 years. He's very serious about it. So we're looking at different strategies to adopt to do that. Different strategies. And to assure you and answer your question directly that it will not go down the drain, there's a FEC approval already for the Special Public Works Program to be an annual event. There's a FEC approval. It is the implementation and the money that we'll look for now in that regard. A very interesting question that somebody asked why there's an embargo on employment and yet we want to fight unemployment? Yeah, the answer is very simple. And I think your question assumes that the kind of employment we want to create is employment in civil service. That's not the idea of employment. All over the world, employment in public services takes, in fact, accounts for less than 1% of employment in the country. So it will be very short-sighted of us as a government, very myopic and very wrong approach to think that we want to lift people out of poverty and create employment by opening up gaps in the civil service to employ people. How many are we going to employ? For the 33% that we have now, that's so high. The unemployment figures are indefensible. The unemployment figures are very high. 33% is high. It was compounded more by the COVID scourge. The whole world is reeling from the COVID scourge. So we need to react more innovatively to create employment. And for us, if you ask the DG here, and the directors who are here, we are working very hard to ensure that we skill up Nigerians. The way to approach unemployment is to skill up the populace. That's the way out. To encourage the macro, small, and medium scale entrepreneurs. Support their businesses. Ensure that people are self-employed. Skill them up. That's what the Empower is doing. Empower is whether you are a graduate or not, go and learn a skill so that you can be self-employed and feed yourself. Those are employments we are creating. Those people we are skilling up. People are looking for like the journalists ask, the journalist is looking for this magical letter. You are hereby be employed. You are put on probation for 6 months, after which you will be confirmed. That's what that journalist is looking for. That's not employment we are looking for. That's not employment we are fighting for. That's not the kind of employment we want to get to Nigerians. No, not that magical letter from civil service. So the only way to know that we have fought on employment is that the next 10 years we print out 100 million letters. No, that's not it. We want to skill up Nigerians. We want to empower them, support small businesses, empower Nigerians, skill them up so that they can be self-employed. That, I think, is the way forward, and that's our concern. That's our whole focus as a government to fight unemployment. Thank you. Yeah, next round of questions.